What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel once again. Today I wanted to go over some of my favorite add-ons that I use in ESO. I've had a few people asking about this subject, so I figured I'd just do an overview of everything that I like to use so you can maybe get some new ideas, or if there's something that you like to use that I'm not talking about here, then let me know in the comments, because you can never have enough add-ons. Be warned that some add-ons will contain copious amounts of configuration, and many people either don't have the time or don't want to bother. So if something looks too daunting, then just forget about it and maybe revisit it later if you feel the need. And it would also be good to mention that there will probably be some overlapping add-ons that perform kind of the same functions as others do, which can be difficult and time-consuming to track down, so just keep that in mind. I'll link everything in the description so you don't have to search every single thing manually. So take a look there if you wanted to actually download one of these for yourself. Oh, and I use Minion to manage my add-ons and keep them updated, so I'll link that below too for anyone who is brand new to using add-ons. It's just a small piece of software that manages all of your add-ons and allows you to update them without having to drag things into the ESO add-ons folder manually, which can just save a lot of time, and the quick and easy updating is always a breeze. So going in alphabetical order, in my add-ons list we first have Action Duration Reminder. This one just gives us better timers on our skill bar. This works especially well if you're running traditional 2-bar builds, as you can see hints of the time remaining on skills that are slotted on your back bar. Awesome Guild Store is a cool add-on that lets you search through guild traders with more options and filters. It makes the interface look more like your inventory, so you can find specific items as if you were searching through your own bag. It also adds some more settings for selling in a guild store, also adding support for the craft bag. One of the best add-ons is Combat Metrics. So after completing a battle, you can type in /CMX into chat to bring up a ridiculously detailed window that features any information that you could possibly imagine about the fight. You'll be able to see numbers and percentages for all of your damage sources, the uptime of your buffs and procs, and a detailed breakdown of your DPS with the ability for the really serious data hounds out there to really dig deep. Anyone that's serious about improving their gameplay would benefit from Combat Metrics, but be warned, the rabbit hole goes deep here, and you might find yourself beating up dummies at your guild house more often than you expected. For those Cyrodiil PvPers, we have CyrHUD up next. This will only appear when you're inside Cyrodiil and basically just gives you a display with information regarding the campaign. You'll be able to see the time remaining until the next evaluation, which keeps are currently under attack, numbers of scrolls, open gates, counts of friendly and enemy siege units, and so on. If you're really serious about PvP, this can definitely be useful, though it can take up a lot of room on the screen and it's a bit weird to get used to it if you have been playing without it for a long time. Destinations is an add-on that adds pins on your map for way shrines, bosses, events, delves, vampire altars, werewolf shrines, and all of that sort of stuff. It supplies some of the same things that another add-on coming up on the list already gives us, so there might be some conflicts there, but I don't have any issues using them together and find that my map has most things visible when using both together. Next up we have Dressing Room. This is a skill bar and gear swapping tool that was primarily used before the armory station was added to the game. However, if you actually have multiple gear sets and unlocked skills on a character, Dressing Room can be a way to swap between different setups for specific content. For example, you may have a trash mob setup that uses a bow or something, but you primarily use a lightning staff for bosses. Dressing Room would allow you to set up hotkeys to seamlessly swap between two different setups while running content. However, the armory allows you to keep presets with champion abilities, Mundus boons, curses, and things like that, which Dressing Room does not, so in most cases the armory is a better option. Next up we have Dungeon Champions, which is a very straightforward add-on that shows bosses in public dungeons and delves on your map. You can configure this to show both defeated and undefeated bosses, so if you're a completionist you can skip over things you've already finished and find things more easily that you haven't yet discovered. Fish Fillet is the next add-on, which allows you to fillet stacks of fish rather than having to continuously press the E button. With this add-on you can actually get up and go to the bathroom while that stack of 87 slaughterfish cut themselves. This will be added as a quality of life update in 2023, so this add-on will be unnecessary at that time. The good old harvest map is next up. This will display resource nodes, chests, and fishing spots on your map and out in the world as 3D pins, making it a little bit easier to locate spawn points for resource farming. This works for nearly every type of resource node in the game, including things like water plants, heavy sacks, thieves' troves, and so on. Inventory Insight is another fun add-on that tracks everything in your character's bags, bank, guild banks, craft bag, and storage chests at your house. This applies to items as well as currencies and includes plenty of filters for hunting down specific items that you may have forgotten on some other character in the past. Hovering over an item shows which character is actually in possession of the item, making it easy to swap over and retrieve whatever you've lost. Next up we have KYNOMA'S RnR. This is an add-on that will allow you to automatically repair your gear when you speak to a merchant, to automatically use repair kits that are in your inventory, and to automatically use soul gems to recharge your weapons. This add-on is a major lifesaver, and one that I couldn't imagine going without after having used it for so long. Only having to speak to the vendor to get your stuff repaired is a big time saver and definitely improves the quality of gameplay. Next on the list we have LOCKPICK Notifier. If you've ever seen someone in a dungeon begin picking a lock and somehow say, "Chest found, quality, master," then they're using this add-on. Once you press E on the chest, it'll auto-type the message into your party chat and then you just press enter to send it. LOREBOOKS is an add-on that just adds little book icons on your map to show where any books and scrolls are in the game that you haven't yet discovered. This makes grinding the Mage's Guild skill line a bit easier, though it's still one of the most annoying activities in the game if you're trying to get it done quickly. Next up we have Lost Treasure, which will provide you with pins on your map showing where treasure maps, survey maps, and tribute clues are located in the world. If you save up your crafting surveys, this is a good way to quickly find them all rather than doing what I used to do back in the day, which is going on YouTube and looking up the location for every single survey individually. The motherlode of add-ons comes by the name LUI Extended. Without going into this for the next 15 minutes, a brief summary would be that this add-on enhances the user interface greatly. You can see better ability tooltips, track buffs and debuffs, set up announcements in your chat box for a number of things like receiving currency, items, experience, achievements, lorebooks, collectibles, quests, and so on. It also has a built-in ability tracker for cooldowns, much like Action Duration Reminder. It can play sounds when an enemy is attacking you, and it also gives you tons of new slash commands to leave parties, teleport to your house, kick members from groups, etc. This is the add-on that allows me to have my row of buffs lined up along the right side of my screen rather than on the bottom, and every aspect of this add-on is highly configurable, but at the same time can give you a massive headache if you don't have the time to really go through the options and get everything disabled that you don't want. For guild store information, I like to use Master Merchant. These types of add-ons can be finicky, but once set up you can check prices on items that you collect in-game to get a better idea of their value. It takes the data from your guild's sales and feeds you data based on that, with highs, lows, and averages for different items. If you're serious about making gold in-game with guild traders, this is a must-have. Potion Maker is a simple add-on that basically helps you make potions by looking through your ingredients and using filters that you set up to make a list of potions that you can create with certain traits. I personally tend to just buy potions these days, but when I used to do my alchemy dailies, I would count on this to get me sorted. Rare Fish Tracker is a simple add-on that just keeps track of the rare fish that you've caught in each zone. So rather than having to look in the zone guide or Google which type of fish spawns in certain types of water, you can just toggle this bad boy on and then off again when you're done fishing. If you're going after any fishing achievements, I highly recommend getting this add-on. RAVALOX Quest Tracker is a better looking, less clunky quest journal that you can substitute for the vanilla one. Just disable the quest tracker that's built into the game, and this one can be moved around and just looks better, taking up less space and being less intrusive. SKYSHARDS is a basic add-on that adds map pins for sky shards to your world map and compass. This is very handy for grinding sky shards in different zones, so you won't have to look up maps ever again. SQUISHYFINDER is a neat little PvP tool that shows you a color-coded and labeled overlay of text when you look at a player in PvP. It ranges from glass up through tanky and monstrous, so you can either use it to avoid certain players that have super high health, or in a more sneaky way to single out low health players. This one makes console players cry. Untaunted is a tank-specific add-on that simply provides a frame of enemies that you have taunted, and a little timer that shows how much longer they will be aggressive towards you. This is a really nice little way to improve your tanking game and can help you to remember to actually perform your duties as a tank if you're usually a DPS player and forget about keeping taunt uptime as high as possible. VAMPZ is a simple add-on that provides map pins for places to feed as a vampire within CyrHUD. This makes it much easier to get back up to the correct vampire level and get back into the action without having to run around searching or leave the PvP zone just to get stuck in a queue on your way back in. For a minimap, I like to use VOTAN'S minimap. This is just a small-sized world map that stays open at all times, even in PvP areas. It can be configured to different shapes and sizes. It can include locations, clocks, and so on. Since downloading this, I can never turn back. Unless, of course, something else is in the way, like in CyrHUD, in which case you can usually get away with just moving it over to the opposite side of your screen, or just disabling it temporarily. Finally, WRITWORTHY is an add-on that provides information about master writs. It'll give detailed descriptions about how much a writ costs to complete, how much it would cost per voucher, and can generally help you complete them more easily. I haven't really dabbled too much into this side of the game, but have this add-on for when I decide to do so. So if that's up your alley, I would recommend this one. Alright, that's my master list as of now. I'm sure that seems like overkill to some people, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually tiny in comparison to other people with many dozens of add-ons. Hopefully you found a thing or two in here that was useful and that can make your gameplay more enjoyable. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I'll have all the links to these add-ons in the description so you don't have to search them all up manually. Thanks for watching as always, and be sure to like the video and sub to the channel if you enjoyed. Until next time.